Hey there, everyone. Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smart Online. Monday's my long day with patients, so I figured I would, one of the greatest things about working with patients is I get so much content over and over and over again that I can bring back to you guys because I know a lot of us are making the same issues. So I wanted to talk to you guys about how to use planks in your routine. So just imagine for a second, I have a runner who came into the clinic this morning actually, and they're talking about all the core stuff that they're working on. They're working on their glute strength, they're working on their core strength by incorporating planks, and they made two main flaws. So a lot of people make these flaws when they work planking in their program, and make no mistake, planking is super useful if you are a runner, but here's what the runner did that was really making their planks useless. The first thing that they were doing is they were completely avoiding side planks. And this is pretty typical. A lot of people like to do the front planks. I think of their beach muscles. They like to focus on those. But as a runner, one of the best things you can do is work on muscle strength on the outside of your hips, the outside of your quote unquote core, your abdomen. And when you do a side plank, this runner wasn't even doing them, you activate more glute. You're going to activate more strength around muscles that are really important for your running, but they're not often utilized. And when they're weak, they end up building up these huge imbalances. They end up slowing you down. They end up getting you hurt. So the first thing we did with this runner, she comes in, she's been working on her core strength, she's super excited, and then I shot her down saying, oh, if you're going to do planks, at least just do the side planks. And then she mentioned that she skips the side planks because they're just harder. And I think it's really important to know, like, the things that you are finding more difficult are probably the things that you should be doing because they're weaker areas. So focusing on side planks rather than front planks is really important for runners. By the way, before I forget, if you are unsure about how to work on your core strength, make sure you check out the link in this post. We have two programs that work really well. One is 60-second core. The other one is Basics Bootcamp. Two fantastic programs I put together to help with core strength. But for this runner, she was also making two other critical mistakes. The first one, which I mentioned, or actually it's not two other critical ones, she made two critical mistakes. The one was she was skipping her side planks. The other one is that she was really proud that she could hold a plank for a really long time. So I want to give you guys a quick anatomy lesson about holding planks for a really long time. When you hold something and you don't move, like there's no movement, it's called an isometric, meaning that when you're in that plank, you're not moving, you're contracting the abdominals with no movement. And when you do that, think of this, the easiest thing to do is kind of like if you take a rag and you wring it out and you just hold that ring position and you put it back in the water and bring it back out of the water, the rag's not going to absorb anything. It's not going to bring in new water. And this is very similar to holding a plank. Muscles need blood flow in and out. And when you starve them of blood flow, you can get really sore from it, but you can also damage them and ruin them. So when you're holding a plank for a really long time, think of it as taking those abdominal muscles, wringing the rag and holding it. Sure, it's going to burn, but more than likely it's burning because you're making it anoxic, meaning you're stripping of all the oxygen because the muscle's contracted. It needs pumping actions to get the blood in and out. So here's what I think you guys should know about planking. I don't care that you can hold it longer than a minute, and I'm going to actually break down. So stay on this real quick because I want to break down what you should do instead. The goal, and this has been pretty proven in the research, is a guy named Stu McGill, who's like the granddaddy of back pain and core strength. And what his system is for improving your core strength is focusing on 1 minute holds. And you might realize that you're not strong enough to hold a 1 minute plank, so that's great. So let's talk about how you do that. You're going to include your front planks, you're going to include your side planks, but you're going to break down that minute. So if you think about, if you need to hold for 1 minute, you would do 6 at 10 seconds. 6 at 10 seconds would give you 1 minute. And when you get stronger, you say, okay, that's too easy. Let's go 4 at 15 seconds. There's your minute. That's too easy. You would scrap the other two. You go 3 at 20 seconds, and then 2 at 30 seconds, and then you're holding for 1 entire minute. Now, a lot of people get to that 1 minute, and they just, how long can I hold it? Because we're runners, and we think that if you just do more, it's just better and better and better. Instead of holding for longer than a minute, here's what you need to do. Think of core strength as your ability to stabilize your spine so that you can move these appendages, your legs, and run and do cool things. You need a nice stable spine. So when you get to that 1 minute hold on a front plank, on a side plank, anything like that, what I want you to start doing is thinking about transitioning away from the long holds. And instead, you want to go and start making things more dynamic or more unilateral. And what I mean by that is, imagine you're holding a front plank. I probably should have laid on the ground and did this for you, but imagine holding a front plank, and instead of just sitting there holding it for 3 minutes, hold it and pick up a leg. And when you pick up that leg, you're going to cause a force that is going to try to get everything to drop on one side. It's single-sided. What ends up happening is if you can fight and resist that, you're making it harder without having to hold longer, and you're actually doing more running-specific things. Because if you think about it, when you push off and running, you're going to be moving these appendages around. So hold your plank, pick up a leg. We call them bottle grabs. You can reach for a bottle with one arm. And when you do those reaches, very deliberate movements. You pick up the leg and you're super strong, holding that position, not letting nothing move. So you can go to the single leg lifts, and then you can also make it even a step harder for all you overachievers out there, and you can take it and make it dynamic. You can swing legs out to the side. You can work on what we call threading the needle. So imagine if you're holding a plank for a minute, you can reach underneath and reach out. I'm reaching out. That's another way to make it dynamic. But don't just sit there and hold your planks forever. You're starving your muscles of oxygen. You might get sore, but you're actually probably damaging it more than anything else, and that's only going to cause more problems. More than anything, the moral of this post, let me just break it down with you real quick if you just joined me. Don't skip your side planks. They are more important than your front planks as a runner. Secondly, don't hold longer than a minute. If you can hold a plank for a minute with good form, then start lifting a leg, start reaching with an arm, start making it a little bit more dynamic rather than just holding for longer and longer and starving your muscles of oxygen. Now, if you want some help with your planking, go to the link in this post. You're looking for the 60-second core program where I actually lay out everything that you need to do to make that happen. And there's also a cool program called Basics Bootcamp that includes more balance and strength training overall for running. So hope this helps you. Hope you're not watching this patient from this morning, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.